Welcome back, everyone. I want to chat about anxiety, and this is something that many people suffer from, and unfortunately it permeates every single aspect of our lives, from trying to fall asleep at night to waking up in the morning and immediately getting this wave of anxiousness and worry and stress that kind of envelops us. Anxiety, in its most basic form, is an inability to trust. Okay, we don't trust ourselves to cope. We don't trust our own coping mechanisms, our experience, our skills, our choices. Then beyond self, we don't trust the people in our lives. We don't trust that the world will protect us, that life will protect us. And we kind of always constantly preparing for the worst. So I want to ask you a really big question, and I want you to really think about this and be as honest as possible as you can with yourself. And that is, are you addicted to your story? Because your source of anxiety is coming from past events. Right now, right this very moment, okay, as you're watching this video, there is nothing to be anxious about, okay? So that constant underlying stress that you're carrying with yourself is actually coming from past events. And the reason I ask you, are you addicted to your story? Because as much as we may not like living the way we are, we may not like thinking the way we do, feeling the way we do, having the kind of life that we're currently experiencing, it's still safe because it's known. You know how the story plays out, you know the characters on the stage, and you know your role in this big production. And although we don't enjoy the play that we find ourselves in, it's still something that we know. And so we kind of hold on to that story. So my question, are you addicted to your story, is the first place that you need to start in if you want to start relieving yourself from anxiety and becoming more settled and confident within yourself. So when we make the choice to start living more conscious lives, more peaceful lives, more loving lives, we have to make a very definite choice to walk away from the past. And it's not to say that the past never happened, that it never impacted you, because it did. Of course it did. And it helped shape who you are today. But we do have the power and we have the choice to decide what we bring forward with us and what we don't. We can bring the learning and we can bring the experience and the knowledge and the decisions to make better decisions through with us. But we don't need to carry the pain and the trauma and the regret and the disappointment and the anger and all of the negative emotions that we carry around with us. So when we decide to let the past go and to step into today, here now, with the person we are today, with the choices available to us today, we have to stop and let go of the past. And that does require a conscious choice, because as I said, we tend to hold on to that because it's our identity. We identify as being a victim, somebody who suffered, somebody who hasn't had as many opportunities as others, somebody who went through bad relationships, bad jobs, you name it. We've all got that story that we tell ourselves. And that blanket, all right, of the past that we kind of envelop ourselves in is stopping you from moving forward. So letting go of the past requires that you do two things. It requires three things. Number one, you need to identify all of these past experiences and memories, and most importantly, the feelings, all right, that you have carried through with you and that are still kind of limiting you in your beliefs and your actions and your choices. Now, that process of identifying the emotions is really important, because that is part of the addiction. Because when we revert back to default, when we revert back to what we are comfortable with, what is known to us, we kind of feel safe in our world, because as I said, we now know how this play pans out. But identifying the emotions requires that we be accountable and responsible for ourselves. And that requires forgiveness. It requires acceptance. And on the subject of forgiveness, all of us have had wrongdoings done to us. All of us have been betrayed, lied to, hurt, you name it. Every single human being on this planet has experienced those emotions. But when we get addicted to that story, when we get addicted to the past, we are holding on for a need for validation that is never going to come from the person who harmed you. Forgiveness is a huge part of that acceptance process, because we can spend years being stuck wishing that so and so and so and so would admit the wrong that they did, or would say that they're sorry. And even if the person who harmed you got on their knees in front of you today and begged forgiveness and told you what an awful person they are, it's still not going to change that residual emotion and addiction to the story within you. So right here today, make the choice to free yourself from the need to be validated by others. Okay, so by identifying the emotions that we were holding on to, we then start to take accountability for the fact that we are choosing to carry on feeling those emotions. And when I say that we are addicted to the past, it's kind of scary, because we've built up all of these emotions that we've kind of created within ourselves, and we believe, we associate ourselves with those emotions, and we believe that that is who we are. And when we make that choice, that very conscious choice, to stop and to stop carrying those emotions, those memories, and those past experiences with us, it's actually a grieving process. Okay, we need to grieve the loss of that person we used to be. And then we need to take the very scary step of becoming the new person that we would like to be. But that new person needs to be free of all the debris and all the shit that we've been carrying with us. So when you are designing this new story for yourself, who do you want to be? How do you want to think? How do you want your daily routine to look? How do you want your friendship circles to look, your relationships to look, your financial wealth to look? How do you want your job, your passion, every aspect of your life? When you are designing this new being, okay, you cannot design it with an old script, all right? You are now the director of your life. You now have the power to create this beautiful new movie that you want, but you need new characters and you need a new script. So that story from the past that you are holding on to, try and really see that it might be an illusionary safety net, but all it is a weird form of procrastinating from taking that new step into your new life. So things that you can do for yourself this week. Write down your story. If you were making a play out of your life, right? You're the director of a big Broadway production, and you now need to create the plot of the story that you're going to present. What would your story look like? All right. Are you the victim? Are you the savior? Are you the long-suffering damsel in distress? What is the story that you are telling yourself about you? And when you can identify that story, then ask yourself, why do I need to be this person? Why do I need to hold on to this? If I was free of the story, who would I be? What space would I have to grow and to explore and to be creative in? So a lot of anxiety comes from carrying all of this past with us, okay? Because it's almost like we're being pushed to grow, we're being pushed to explore, to evolve into who we can be, and all of these magnificent skills and talents and desires within you that are bursting to get out, okay? They can't at the moment because they're meeting that wall of anxiety, which is being underpinned by this big story that we are carrying around about ourselves. So the more you can let go of that story, and the more you can consciously create a new one, the more your anxiety is going to lessen. Because by stepping into this new beautiful production that you are creating for yourself, by doing that, by taking that action, by making those conscious choices to let the past go, you are gaining self-love, confidence, and experience, okay? Because if you are stuck in the past, you're in a holding pattern, okay? You're not open to new experiences, new wisdoms. And it is only in that action, in going out there and trying new things and stepping outside of your comfort zone, do we gain the confidence that we need. Because confidence kind of balances out anxiety. So remember, we only feel anxious when we are feeling like we are not coping, when we are in an unsafe place. The way to make yourself feel safe, the way to make yourself feel confident, is to consciously step into that new you. Okay. So that is your challenge for the week. I want you to write down the story of you and really get honest with yourself and ask yourself, why do you need to still, after all of these years, identify with that past story? You don't need to. You are the most creative being alive on this planet, okay? We are infinitely creative, and we have that power and that drive. And in fact, we have the responsibility to keep evolving and to keep growing and to keep learning how we can love ourselves better. All right. So I hope that helps you if you are suffering from anxiety. This is a really practical but really powerful step that you can take to help you manage that anxiety and to start becoming free of that anxiety, okay? It's all about conscious intention. Get conscious about what's happening with yourself. Get honest about the thought patterns that you're allowing yourself to keep thinking about over and over and over again, and begin to make new choices. All right, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'd love to get back to you.